Well, how are you doing? Okay, this video is going to be about optical drop. Our opposition have been doing their best to claim it doesn't exist. That even though I have shown real world observations of it in the past, they keep on denying those, not even denying them, just ignoring them, not addressing them, and trying to attack the demonstrations I show of it. Now, what they don't understand concerning the demonstrations is they're not taking into account a couple of things. Because they try and do their own demonstrations and they set it up in such a way that they get the result that they are looking for, which is completely dishonest. I'm not saying they've all done it that dishonestly, but they've all ended up with this exact result they've been looking for instead of doing exactly what I say. So that is not, they're being dishonest with themselves at that point, right? Because they're not looking for facts or truth, they're just looking to get the result that they want to see. They're not taking the slope of the surface they're using into account. They're trying to focus on level as opposed to parallel, and they're not taking into account focal length, right? Because I've done it in the past. The demonstrations I've made have been with an iPhone 5, and the focal length of the camera of an iPhone 5 is 4.13 millimeters, which is a tiny focal length, right? So you're going to see that effect happen sooner with a small focal length. So what's if you have a greater focal length, that effect will still happen, but it won't happen over the course of 2 feet or 4 feet or 5 feet as easy, especially if you're using a camera or a smartphone with a much better focal length. Either way, right, I'm going to go through some stuff here. I'm not going to show any of my demonstrations in this. This is purely going to be about optical drop, and I'm only going to show real world observations at a distance to prove optical drop, because that's what we're dealing with, isn't it? We're dealing with a claim that that anything in the distance that's smaller than it should be, that it's gone over the curve of a globe Earth, right? Even though the horizon's not geometric, they're going backwards, trying to claim it's geometric again. It's a big mess. But I'm not going to show any demonstrations here because all they do is they attack the demonstration and they don't deal with the actual observation. Like, there's no point trying to debunk a demonstration when there's a real world observation. Jim, what's the point trying to debunk a demonstration? It's the real world observation you need to be addressing. Trying to attack a demonstration is not debunking it in real world. So I'm going to go through some well-known photographs here within this debate over the years. I'm going to show how they all prove optical drop. Okay, this one I've had in an older video. This is from J. Tolan Media 1. And he's in Palm Springs area, I think, in California. He's looking here to a mountain. He's at a 3,200, 200 feet above sea level elevation. There's a mountain here 53 miles away, and it's 4,500 feet above sea level. There's another one over here that's 68 miles, that's 15 miles past this one. That's 4,900 feet above sea level. So this one here, this mountain here, is higher than this mountain, and they're both way higher than his elevation height, right? But that even though that's true, that I'm just going to get a line here. What you'll see is when I just find the center of the photo, which is here, right? And I put this line in before. This is the center where the green dot is. What you'll notice is his eye line is above both of those, right? So how can his eye line be above both of those? And if they're higher than him, so of course our opposition are going to go with, it's our curve, right? Because they're idiots, right? To be honest with you, majority of them are, right? A couple of them are smart, but most of them are just idiots. I can't call them out on this at this stage. I don't know what other way to address them. So let's just go through this, right? So we go to here. Here is where he was. It's Quartz Hill over here, Lancaster, Palmdale. So this was his location. And the distance was 68.04 miles over to this mountain here in the distance. This is the mountains in the foreground, the 53 miles away. That's a quartzite mountain. And I don't know the name of this one, but it's there. It's just behind there, just behind Apple Valley and Victorville, back there, right? So there it is. So, right, J toll and elevation 3,200 feet. J toll and drop by 100 feet, because this was to do with parallax. Which is a different video I'm going to do, which is a visual occultation. J toll and elevation after drop is to 3,100 feet. J Tolan's distance to the first mountain is 53 miles, and its elevation is 4,500 feet. And his distance to the second mountain is 68 miles, and its elevation is 4,900 feet. Distance between first and second mountain is 15 miles. The globe Earth's hidden calculation for 68 miles at 3,200 feet is 0. The globe Earth's hidden calculations for 68 miles at 3,100 feet is 0. Okay, just to support that, 53 miles, here is a metabunk, 53 miles, 3,100 feet, right? I'll go actually put into 68 miles. That's the easiest bit to do. 68 miles, right? 3,100 feet. Geometric hidden none, right? Right. Now I'm going to put in 3,200 feet, right? Of course, once again, it's going to be geometric hidden none. So the point is, is that here, right, this mountain and this mountain, the fact that both of them are lower than his oil line there is no way to explain that on the globe model. It can't be explained because you can't. Like what I mean is nothing can really be explained on that. It's just a load of excuses. The excuses model, and that's all it is. So there is no way out of this. This is from a video from a couple of years ago, and not one of our opposition have ever addressed this very thing here. Why can't you address it? Like, this is optical drop in the real world. And J. Tolan used, if anyone's interested, he used a theodolite or a total station. But so it wasn't just any old camera he used. He used a theodolite or a total station, and he leveled it up at all the things you're supposed to do. So he is making a parallel with sea level, and yet his 3,000. This is 3,000. Just going to get another line there a second, right? It's going to make that, right? So here, I'm going to make it a little bit thicker, maybe a different color because it's a bit, right? This blue line here, right? This is about 3,000 feet above sea level here, according to him. So he's up about here, right? But yet he's at that distance. His oil line is like there's that much difference, right? That's optical drop. That's what it is, right? It's an optical phenomenon. It happens with all optics. Your focal length will affect it in different things, but it's still an effect that happens. It happens with our eyes all the time. It happens with clouds constantly. It happens with planes constantly. Nothing to do with anything going over a curve. It's purely the effect of optical drop. And unfortunately, we have people on our own side who think incorrectly, because they're thinking about perspective from an art class point of view, is that everything meets in the center of a photograph. It doesn't. The horizon doesn't rise up to the center of every photograph. The horizon, or any line that's supposed to depict it in a photograph, it's not. Everything's not meeting in the center. If you're painting on a canvas, that's how you do it. You start with a central line, and you paint. That's how normally how you paint landscape paintings. You're going to start with a central line, especially if there's a horizon in it or something you want to depict a central horizon point. But in reality, that's not the case. In reality, when you're standing at the beach and your eyes are above the water line below you, if you're 5-6 foot eye line above the water below you at your feet, then you're 5 or 6 feet eye line above the horizon. So there's an optical drop to the horizon. Now, it might appear to rise, and it does appear to rise up as you rise up, but you're always above it. That's optical drop. That's what it is. An optical drop. So that's just that first one. None of them have ever addressed it. Will they address it now? Who knows, right? Because there is the central area of the eye line in this photograph, and here is these two mountains. This is the highest one. This is the second highest one, and they're both way above his elevation. None of them can be gone over the curve. There's no Earth curve. Yet, He's looking above him. Why is that? Optical drop. That's why. And they're displaying an optical phenomenon that can't exist on the globe because everything in the globe and the globe mathematics is our curve. Everything's orthographic. There is no compression. There is no visual occultation. There is no optical drop. There is no angular size change. None of that is part of globe maths. So anyone who's trying to claim it is either don't know what they're talking about or they're lying, one or the other. So I'm just going to move on to the next one. Here we have in Blackpool, from that famous Blackpool Tower photograph, the top of what's the Pepsi Max roller coaster here is 65 meters. The top of Blackpool Tower is 158 meters, right? There's only like 2 miles between them. That's an optical drop, optical phenomenon. That's what it is. It's an optical drop. The 2 miles is not going to, like 65 goes into 158. We'll be going into it like close on 3 times. You know what I mean? Or maybe 2.5 times. So, you know, but yet this is more than halfway up Blackpool Tower, because Blackpool Tower starts down here. So why is that happening? It's not to do with globe. It's purely optical drop. That's what's causing it. Now we have the full Blackpool photo, Blackpool Tower photo, and I'm just going to get a line. 1 second now. Right, bring this down. This is square as well. I prefer the square ones for this. Bring that up. Now you have there's the central point right there. Just going to get another line just to highlight it. Now there's the central point. He's at 20 feet above the water line. 20 feet. That's the photographer Kevin Jackson. That was his elevation. So at 20 feet, this is his eye line, right? But if we get another line here, over here, right? That's 20 feet. Over there, right? As you go up here, that's 20 feet up here. Right there. 20 feet. So that means that, and that is like 5 miles away, right? 5 miles away. So 1 second now. So 1 second now. The angular size. Into here a sec. Right, angle, degrees, distance. Right. So right, 5280 multiplied by 5 equals 26400, right? So edit, copy, right? Paste 26400, right? Size 20 feet, right? 0.04, right? So this is not even taken. This is orthographic because it's an orthographic calculation. Angular size change is a calculation in the orthographic that doesn't take any weather, any refraction, or anything else into account. The human eye. It's just, even though it's a function of that, it's not taking it all into account as a calculation. So 0.04 degrees, that means it's 0.02 degrees above the angular resolution limit of the human eye. I mean, if you move this back a bit, it's only a matter of time before this white line is going to come down to that. So if he was standing right there, his eye line would be up here. And if you move back, as he's moving back, the eye line appears to go down. So now it's not really going down, it just appears that way, right? It has to, because that's the function of the human eye. If we look over here, right, over there, he wouldn't see 20 foot at all because of the angular size change, right? If we go back to here a sec, right, at let's say I think that's like 30 miles away, something like that. So that's 158,400 feet. Something that's 80 feet, right, high, will have an angular size of 0.92 degrees over there. So you definitely won't see anything. This is under perfect conditions where there is no air, no temperature, nothing like that. This is with a totally orthographic calculation. It's 0.02, right? So that means anything that's below 80 feet off sea level over here, you won't see. You won't see it. That's below 80 feet. You just can't see it because of the angular resolution, right? So why is that? So that's another part of optical drop. That's what it does. As things go away, like the oil line begins to get lower and lower and lower as you move away. As you move away, things get smaller on the distance, and then you have to take in the human eye into account, and you have to take in obviously the focal length of the camera. But you're taking in just as, let's say, to take cameras out of it, we just talk about just the human eye and distance. It's like this is just a natural function. What happens? So our opposition trying to claim that doesn't happen? I mean, are you stupid? I mean, there it is happening. I mean, are you stupid? Like, are you stupid? Like, what's wrong with you? Why can't you understand this? Like, this is totally simple. Like if he was standing here, his oil line would be there, and as he moves back, his oil line would end up down here. I mean, are you stupid? What's wrong with you? How come you can't understand that? That's a very simple thing. Why can't you understand that? Anyone else can understand it. I don't know what's wrong with you. You must be stupid. Only stupid people couldn't understand that. So here we have a famous Miles Davis photograph from years ago, 2017, like 6 years ago. Let's just get a line, annotate, right? So let's just go from this corner up to this corner, right? There it is. So that's about midline. Get another one just to put a line in halfway. No, there's Miles Davis Island, 210 feet, right? That's his camera height. Bridge tower height, 210 feet. There's the water underneath the bridge. You can see the water underneath the bridge. So why is the bridge smaller than him? Not as if gone over our curve. There it is. It's right there. There's the bottom of the bridge. You can see the water past it. You can see way past the bridge. The water goes all the way over to the land on the other side. So why is that? Is it our curve? No. Is it a function of perspective? Optical drop? Yes. That's what it is. It's a function of perspective. Optical drop. That's what it is. I mean, I don't see what the issue is here. I mean, anyone who's sane, anyone who's logical would understand that this is a function of optical drop. At that distance, like instead of it being right there, if he was standing with the camera right here and he could move straight back, then his oil line would appear to drop down to there. Now, for him, this is what he's seeing, looking straight out. But as he moves back, right, this is actually where his oil line is. So Miles Davis's oil line is actually here. So I'll just go up here a sec. Let's get another one of these. So that's where his oil line actually is. But he perceives it as being up here. He perceives it as being there, but it's actually there. That's optical drop. I mean, our opposition denying this? Like, I mean, it's right there in front of you. I mean, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Why can't you understand that? Like, I mean, it's very simple. I mean, are you stupid? What is it you don't understand? I mean, anyone could understand that. Why can't you understand that? We go on to J. Toll and media again. So Los Angeles, over here, you can see all the shoreline, everything. That's 100 feet above him. That's like, he's at 150 feet. Los Angeles is at 200 feet, or he's at 150. Sorry, Los Angeles is 250 feet up here, and he's at 150 feet above sea level here. You see all the way to the beach, right? I've been all these beaches here. That's exactly what it is. You can see all that. I've been over here, Malibu. That's exactly what it looks like, right? You can see all the way over. Don't need any camera. Now, to see through everything, you do need the IR to see the Mount San Jacinto. But the point is, there is his oil level. That's his oil line right there, right? So if that's his oil line right there, right, his oil line would be, right, if he was overlooking straight at Los Angeles, his oil line would be here. But he's viewing it there because of perspective. So as he moved, let's just say, as he would move closer in a straight line over to Los Angeles, his oil line would end up there. And he moves back, his oil line ends up here. It's not that he's gone over a curve or that's gone over a curve. It has nothing to do with that. It's just a case of optical drop, just perspective. Why can't you understand that? I mean, I don't get this. Why can't you understand this? Are you stupid? I mean, anyone could understand that. I don't really see why you can't understand that. Why are you trying to debunk this? Like, this is a natural phenomenon. Why would you be trying to debunk something that's Why are you saying something doesn't exist when it's obviously does? Like, you know what I mean? That's like saying rain doesn't exist. You know, rain doesn't exist. You might as well be saying that because it's just as stupid. You know what I mean? Are you stupid? Why don't you understand that? Here we have the black swan photograph, or the example photograph used for it. Here is the center frame, so the eye line of the photographer. Here is the horizon out the back of the oil rigs. We all know about that, right? But we're not. We're going to focus on where the oil line is. So on this oil rig up here, that's about like 30 feet or something from the water up to there, or 15 feet or something like that. It's definitely not more than 1 foot. So here on this one, it's about 3/4 of the way up, and on this one, it seems to be right up underneath. Because why? Because of optical drop. It's an optical phenomenon. Optical drop. Anyone could understand it. You know what I mean? Why can't you understand it? Are you stupid? Why can't you understand it? Are you stupid? Why don't you understand that? There's the oil line, right? 1 foot observation. 1 foot would be down here. That'd be 1 foot on that, and 1 foot here would be on that, right? So 1 foot would be down here somewhere, right? On the platform hill house, platform habitat, 1 foot would be here, somewhere like that. But it's up here. That's where the eye line is. Why is the eye line there? Because that's the center frame. Because of optical drop. You know, if you could move those oil rigs back further and further, then the line center frame, the line of sight will appear to rise up like that. That's what will happen because it's just a natural phenomenon. Sorry, natural phenomenon. Optical drop, just natural, just an effective perspective, effective optics. You know, why couldn't you understand that? Are you stupid? Anyone could understand that. So here is Ranty's, one of Ranty's photographs. Let's get color. So here's one of Ranty's photographs. Now, this is one I made in the past, right? Here you have the center of Ranty's camera lens. Here is this white line here is going through, that's the center. So that's 1 foot observation height. Here's a 1 foot observation height. This is the actual height of his camera, this white line out over here. Right, that's the actual height of his camera. That's 13 miles away. This hill or mound here or sand dune or whatever along the shore here, that's like about, I think it's 15, 20 feet, something like that in height. This yellow line behind it, that's just depicting Superior Mirage. That's where the Mirage, that's Mirage up above. That's actually the top of the towers, and they're 18 miles away. 1 foot observation, 18 miles away. So if I just change I think it's the contrast, you can see it, right? Look at the difference. You can see where his actual eye line is. This white line. That's where his eye line appears to be, but that's actually where his eye line is, due to perspective. It's just a perspective change. That's all it is. So, I mean, that's 1 foot observation, seeing 18 miles, and that's where his eye line actually is. That's the center of that's the actual point of his eye line. Up here is just where he perceives it to be, because of optical drop, the thing that supposedly doesn't exist, according to a lot of our opposition. But there it is in reality. I don't see what the problem is. Why can't you understand that? Are you stupid? So here's another photograph from Ranty, 1 foot observation, looking across again. That's 13 miles straight across over here to a sand dune that's like 20, 30 feet, something like that. Let's get this line here. So this is where his eye line is, or this is where his eye line actually is, but it appears to be up here. So if I just go from here across to there, across to here, you get some idea. So that's where his eye line appears to be, right? So one more time. I know I'm kind of labouring the point a bit, but it's important because these people think this doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. No, because they're stupid. Because only stupid people would say that. So this doesn't exist. This image here, this observation, this never happened. That isn't 1 foot over there. That isn't 13 miles away. This whole place over here, Barrow and Furnace, whatever it is, that doesn't exist. None of these buildings are there. This big mountain here at the back, that's not there. None of this happened. Doesn't exist. You know, because that's what they're claiming. Whereas this is where Ranty's eye line actually is, right? But it appears up here. It appears to be up there because it's only apparent. It's not actually up there. It just appears that way. due to perspective. That's all it is. Here is another photograph. Same basically one again. I have a white line in there for Randy's eye line. I'm just going to change the where's the color, right? I change the contrast, right, a little bit. Maybe I'll change it all the way. Now that white line, that's Randy's actual eye line. That was his actual eye line. That's where his eye line actually is, but it appears to be up here. It just appears to be. It's not really. It just appears that way. You know, anyone couldn't understand that must be stupid. Are you stupid? Why don't you understand that? I mean, I've like after years and years of trying to explain this to these people, I have no other choice. I don't like to do that. I don't like to call anyone stupid. Never like to do it. But you know, I also don't like to tell lies or tell myself lies. It's like, you know, why would you be not able to understand that after years? I think it was 2018, 19, maybe before that, I started actually showing this. And, you know, years later, they still don't get it. I mean, why can't you get that? Why can't you understand that? I mean, it couldn't be any more simple. I mean, 18 miles away, there's the eye line right there. It appears to be here. You know, that's it. What's wrong? Why can't you understand those simple things? You know, why don't you get this? Are you stupid? It's a question. Are you stupid? Why can't you understand that? Why do you deny this? Why do you deny that this is happening? Why do you deny that this place exists and that this observation happened? Because that's what you're denying. You know, why are you denying all these things? You know, it's obvious that what I'm saying and what I demonstrate and what I detail is happening. You know what I mean? I don't know what else to say to you. Like, that's where his eye line actually is. That's like a 20 or 30 foot sand dune over there. And that's his eye line 1 foot up off the water. And that's where it appears to be. Just before I finish, give me the line. I change the color to blue. And, you know, that's where it appears to be. I'm taking it up a little bit just so you can all see it. You know. So that's where his eye line is. That's where it appears to be, you know, because of optical drop. That's what happens. You know, eventually that's what happens. That's 18 miles away, 1 foot observation. And sorry, that's 13 miles. And where this tower is over here, this tower here in Barron-Furness, this church, whatever, that's 18 miles. 1 foot observation. You know, there you go. To address the observations, address what I'm showing. I don't want to hear about any other nonsense about the observations. I want to hear about this, address this. I didn't put any demonstrations into this video. I just showed observations. So you have to address them because you've been avoiding addressing them for years. You keep on wanting to attack the demonstrations. Now, nobody ever debunked it. People have tried, but no one did. As I said, they don't take into account things like the slope of the surface, focal length, and other things. They don't parallel instead of, you know, focusing on level instead of parallel. You know, because you can't be certain that the surface you're using might be flat, but you can't be certain it's totally level. You know, so you have to make a parallel with it. But all that don't matter because I'm not showing any demonstrations here. You know, that's his eye line. That's what it perceives to be. He perceives it to be optical drop. It's a real thing. And this also goes for flat earthers who thinks it's not real, who think it's not real. Is that if you think that the horizon is coming up to meet the eye line and the sky is coming down and blah, 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 just like they teach in our class, well, this photograph debunks that. And so do the rest of the observations. It's optical drop. It's a natural function of optics. Why can't our opposition understand that? I don't like calling anyone stupid, but I have no choice at this stage. I just have literally no choice. You know, years of it. No choice. You know, you've driven me to just get to that being the only, I have no other, not even dishonesty at this stage. It's just like, that's the only option I have left. Prove different, you know, prove different to me. Thanks for watching.